Hi, everybody. Welcome to our new podcast and video series, Fabulous Friday with Ash Lea. I'm Ash.
And I'm Lee.
Our show covers topics, concerns, and conversations you're already having with your girlfriends, female coworkers, and connections. We know that you are striving to meet your goals and live your life to the fullest, and that can be a struggle when the road isn't exactly paved for your walking pleasure, and there are hills to climb that you've more than you thought. So we're here to help you enjoy the scenery, maybe take a selfie, grab some fresh water, and even fresher perspective, and then continue on your journey.
Yeah, and what's best to do that with a girlfriend, right? So Fabulous Friday is when girlfriends share the tips, the tricks, and how to enjoy life and how to work more professionally so we can all enjoy life together.
Yay, yes. And so we thought this was perfect. This week, there was International Women's Day. And then also this month is Women's History Month.
Yes.
And so what a great way to celebrate on a Friday, celebrating with our girlfriends, Lee and I kicking off our podcast. So we're really excited to get started.
And I'm excited because actually Ashley and me have never met in person. And this is just striking out to be a really beautiful friendship. And I think, sometime in life, you don't really need to meet in person. You can actually have a friend, whoever like-minded and have the same vision, same goal. And, we can still be a kindred spirit in any part of the world.
Yes, I love that. Yes, that is so true. And that's kind of how we met, was through Femme City. And we were in a accountability group together. Was it 2021 or 2020? I don't even remember. I think it was 2020.
I want to say 2021. I think July session. So let's introduce our audience. Who's Femme City?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead. I know you'll summarize it better than I will.
Oh, okay. Well, Femme City is a women's support group organization that's founded by Violet Yala. I always have problems saying her last name because I'm just not, it's just like those syllables. It's really hard for me.
It's beautiful when she says it. Yeah.
She's a beautiful woman who has a vision about women supporting women, and either you're a woman in the corporate world, in the professional world, or you're a woman struggling or even not or thriving, not even struggling in your business world. We always need supporting from each other. So when I got introduced to this organization, that was 2011, I want to say. It's like over 10 years ago when I lived in Philadelphia. So I was recruiting a friend to go to BNI, and she's recruiting me to go to Femme City. I mean, we both kind of knew. And she didn't join BNI, but I joined Femme City to be a founding member. And then eventually she encouraged me to apply for the board position, which I did. And I became the board member of Philadelphia chapter for like 4.5 years before I moved to Florida. Guess what? The first thing I did when I moved to Florida, I contacted the chapter in Orlando of Femme City, and I joined force with them. I introduced myself, and they become really good friends. And I was asked to be a board member in Orlando chapter for a couple of years. And then, I just love the organization because I think that is so much support within the group, and people you met not just become a business collaborator, supporter, but also become a lifelong friend. And I have so many friends in Femme City, and that's where I met you.
Yes. I think I joined, it was very early 2020, and I was just struggling, just making connections with other women. And I was just kind of thinking about my circle of friends or my circle of people I hang out with. And I didn't really have anybody. They were entrepreneurs or small business owners. And so I would bring up topics, that I was struggling with, and they had no clue, right. or maybe I got a new client and I was so excited and I wanted to tell somebody, and it would come off bragging to somebody who who doesn't know
Yeah,
like what you go through. They don't know that you
right,
might have cried, you wanted to puke, you had to go,
right.
prepare for a big presentation. Like so much work put into this one little email you get back that says, yeah, we'd love to work with you, and then you're so
Right.
excited you want someone to tell. And so, yeah, I just started thinking, okay, I need a different group. And it's not that I wanted to get rid of my friends. I just needed a different group that I would talk to, things like this about. And yeah, that's what I joined.
Sometimes friends and family, they love you so much, they want to protect you from
Yeah.
being hurt, from being fail, on doing new things.
Mhm.
So they are, sometimes they do kind of talk you out of what you want
Yes.
to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I needed people that were like, you know what? It's okay if you feel like you're going to puke. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
Yeah,
It means it's
right.
new
Yeah.
and you should push through it because you'll, be really proud of
Because we
yourself.
are on the same journey. We are on the same boat. We puke the same time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's why I joined. And yeah, I love it. So I've met so many people. And like you were saying earlier, some people I've never met in person, but we just have a connection. We stay in touch with each other,
Yeah.
even just friending on Facebook. They're the first people that will like a post if I'm, excited about something or if I share something. So yeah,
And you broaden your network too. You know people from all different corner of the world, literally, because they have a global chapter. And
mhm.
I'm also a global member. I think you are too, right?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's many different level. If
Yeah.
you, the listener, are curious, you can go to femcity.com and check it out. They have a month for you to try out. So I would say that if you're a female business owner, that you love the camaraderie and the support among
Mhm.
women, this is a great group
Yeah.
to just go in, because we have ongoing support from Violet all the time.
Yes. And she's so approachable. I love it.
Oh yeah, and I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I'm gonna meet her
Notice
soon.
that.
Coming
Yeah.
to
Is that
Orlando.
today or is that tomorrow?
It's Friday. It's Friday.
So today. Okay.
Fabulous
Yeah, I couldn't.
Friday. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was today or Saturday. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be so exciting.
it's fun. So, um, for International Women's Day, Ashley,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would love to ask you, when you think of a strong woman, what quality do you think of? For
Yeah,
work or personal, it's like, to be a woman, what is something that draw to you as a character, as a strong character?
yeah. I think this is a good question, and it really makes me think. You know, it's I would say the answer is different now that I'm older. I
Mhm.
remember first getting started in the workforce, and it seemed like the only women who were excelling were the women who acted like men or were a little bit more aggressive. And it was always, I don't want to say it was intimidating to me, it was almost disappointing to me to see that we had to like kind of transform ourselves. And so I would say one of the things that I define as a strong woman is somebody who does not make herself smaller. She's not trying to do, those more masculine things to fit in. If that's her personality, that's what she is, perfect. If it's
Mhm.
not, she doesn't do those things.
Yeah,
And she still finds a way to, collaborate and build relationships and grow her, career or even her personal goals, but without removing that aspect
yeah,
of herself that makes us women and unique.
yeah,
And I think that alone, I think, takes so much strength and courage because the default is for you to act like a man, right? The default is for you to act like that. So when you don't, I think there's just so much strength in that. And I've had women throughout my career that I've watched and I admire and I try to, imitate what they're doing because I do want that kindness. If
yeah,
someone's having a bad day and they're messing up a big project, I want to come in and say, is everything okay? Like, is something going
right,
on? How can I help
right.
you? Versus, you're horrible. Why can't you do that? And so,
Yeah, well, I think you are perfectly right in that sense, because you used to say that is a eats dog world out there. You have to be powerful, and you
mhm,
got to be intimidate in order to step on someone to get to a successful position. But I agree with you completely. It does not have to be that way, because you can be assertive without being aggressive.
Right.
And I think, we women sort of like, yeah, you want to be in the man's world, you have to act like a man, and
Mhm.
you don't really have to.
Nope. Yeah. And you can be direct and respectful at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and so those are things I feel like we're, teaching women younger than us, but we kind of had to learn on our own, like, oh, I don't have to act like that. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think. What about you? What are some qualities that you see in strong women?
I love the nurturing aspect.
Mhm.
I think, majority of us, I can't say that all women are moms, but I would say majority of women, or at least 50% of women are married and moms, and using the mom instinct to function in the real world is also a really great plus, with the nurturing, the love, but also teaching, um, the quality that mom has. Sometimes we're a little bit overprotective, the people we love.
Yeah.
So we have to give the room for people to freely express their creativity. And being a good mom or a good woman or a professional woman, we probably need to do more of that, giving a nurture environment, encouraging, but also give people the free will to express their own creativity.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. I like that. That's such a good point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, I mean, that's hard too, to give people that free will, especially if it's your
I
children.
know. Well,
To express
sometimes,
themselves, but
yeah, I think, sometimes we are perfectionists out in our own way, and we need to control everything just so that it have done the way that we want it. And
Mhm.
sometimes I have to really learn to let go and say, come back so I can see something fresh that is not me doing it for me.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah. I remember I used to think that being a good mom was when people would pat me on the back and tell me I was being a good mom and my kids were so good.
Yeah.
And then I realized that was not being a good mom. Being a good mom was letting them be messy little humans that are learning every day and making their mistakes, and might be embarrassing, and other people are watching, but they get to
Yeah.
learn all their mistakes in such a small way when they're little versus a
Yeah.
big way when they're adults. Yeah, it took
Yeah,
me
but I'm
forever.
not, yeah. And in the same token, I'm not saying, just let whatever that person be wild and
Yeah,
do it uncontrollably,
right.
I think we still need to know that the respect aspect, this the reverence, and also do thing in the right orderly consideration, all those things. But we don't want to constrain it to the point that, like, I know that when I was young, um, I have a lot of creative idea, but I'm afraid to express it because, we were always taught, like, do what you told.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like the mantra that I grow up. And then now I felt like, I have to hurry up and live my life the way I want it because, I have been conformed for so long. And I feel like, I need to find a way to express myself.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so there's a balance somewhere, right?
Yes, yeah. Yeah. And I would say, Lee, you are always a fresh breath of, or what is it, a breath of fresh air every time. So,
Oh,
I,
you're so kind. I learn a lot from you.
oh, thank you. But just listening to you and, feeling like you're kind of making up for that, whenever I meet with you, you're so full of life. Like when I'm done meeting with you, I even go back and tell my husband, Sony, like, this is what we talked about today. And, this is what I learned from her. So you're doing good.
Oh,
I love
thank
it.
you. Thank you. I think we all learn from each other. And I think
Mhm.
that's the beautiful part of it. Female love to share. I think sometimes we like to talk, and men like to just play sport activity, something physical, extenuation, but not a whole lot of chitter chatter like we do.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's good or bad because sometimes, we got very emotional and we got dramas going
Oh,
on.
yeah.
But I think talking is good. It get out of your system, and then you get agreement, or you get, it's like you hear from a different person's perspective, which is really so fresh,
Mhm.
between the business world, because sometimes you just get caught in your own way of thinking.
Mhm.
And when you talk it out, you hear different things. So that's
Yeah,
valuable for business.
definitely. Yeah. And I think, like you're saying, talking it out is good, but like you're saying, kind of that more masculine point of view is sometimes we do need to stop talking to and we get to listen. But that is
Yeah,
the good thing about connecting, with others, as we can listen to them, like you were
exactly.
saying, and come away with a whole new perspective, which,
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So I think that this podcast is actually to inspire people to find connection
Mhm.
from all part of the world. If you find somebody that you feel like they're such a good collaborator, listener, or somebody who actually can enhance what you're doing, like
Mhm.
Ashley is really good with technology, and I am not. So, so I mean, she can teach me a thing or two, and then I don't know what I can teach her, but
Oh, so many things.
you
Yeah, you
know,
could teach me to, you are so good at taking one thing and just spinning it into this amazing
oh,
opportunity and like the benefits that come out of it. I mean, just
oh,
anything.
I'm good at marketing. I'm good at a lot of different idea. I think
Yeah,
then,
I love it.
sometimes I couldn't stop, but keep thinking more idea, which I need to stop doing that to focus on one idea at a time.
I know I do that too. It's hard. I think it's an
But
entrepreneurial brain too, where
yeah,
we're just
yeah.
always coming up with something.
Right. But that's good. And we got to try out so we know what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So we can, incorporate into our business or our everyday life,
Mhm.
productivity, so you can have more time to enjoy life and
Exactly.
meaningful life, not just, sit there and watching Netflix, 20 hours of binge watching. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, when I'm sick, I do that all day. Or when I'm depressed, I do that.
Uh-huh.
But you got to get that out of the system sometime, but then move on. And I
Yeah.
think having an accountable partner or sister that who have very much similar of the same mindset and struggling the same way doing business, and we can really help each other. So this is why this Fabulous Friday is for.
Mhm.
And tell people, how often are we going to do this, Ashley?
So I think we're starting twice a month, right? Are we doing it every other Friday?
Uh, okay, so
Did I
I'm
just
really
forget?
asking you. I'm really asking you. Maybe we should do, I don't know, first and third, just so be
Yeah.
consistent, because I think every other might be confusing. Maybe
Yeah,
people
that's
would
true.
not know.
Yeah. Okay.
So just a
So we're
thought.
doing it the first and third every Friday, or every first
Wait,
and third
today is the
Friday.
second, right?
Yeah.
Today, yeah.
Let me
So,
look.
or we can do second and fourth.
Yep. Okay. So new answer. We are doing this the second and the fourth Friday of
Yeah,
every
because we
month.
start out today is the second, so
Yes.
second Friday.
Yes. But we definitely had to start this week because of International Women's Day being this week.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah. So that
yes.
makes sense. So the second and fourth. So we
All
definitely
right.
came prepared for this, didn't we?
All right, yes,
I love it. I had another question for you, Lee. One of the things that we had talked about when we were talking about just doing this podcast or video series was you had mentioned that women in general, we're kind of scared to promote ourselves. And that's one of the things we have to work on. So do you want to just talk about that a little bit? Like, what can we be a little bit better at, or what are we already really good at?
yeah.
Because I really liked when you were talking about that the other day.
Well, for me, I know coming from the background that, like I told you, I'm from the East, so very reserved, very traditional taught, and always think like you should not talk about yourself, um, because then it'll become conceited, can become arrogant, become bragging, and that is so used in the business world, especially in America. We're
Mhm.
not taught to brag. We're taught to tell people how we help them, what kind of service we provide, because we don't talk. Nobody gonna talk for us, and you do not want to be a hidden gem. And it took me a long time to learn that. My first business, I was a window fashion designer, and I was so afraid to talk. It took me 5 years to learn how to talk, and not just
Mhm.
how to talk, but also how to ask.
Mhm.
How to ask. And what I love Femme City is about, they always asking you about champions other women. Talk about yourself, and then champions other women, and then ask, what do you need for this week, this month? what do you need help with? Because, we struggle alone and we don't think that anybody understands. So let's just do it by ourselves, which is so wrong. So ask for sales, ask for service, ask for help. And I learned that, and I'm still continuing to learn that, because like you said, Ashley, it is really hard to talk without being conceived as you're bragging. Like, it's just our nature of, say, being humility and that's why I love Femme City again, because we champion each other. It's less about we talking about ourselves. So it's got more of the social proof if your sister, your friends talking about your service, but you still need to do it for yourself, because if you don't, none of your friends or your sister are going to do it for you consistently.
Right. Yeah, you have to do it. And so in case anybody missed this was amazing when Lee said, you don't want to be a hidden gem. That really resonated with me. That is so true. Like, if you're a hidden gem, it doesn't matter if you're a gem, right? Because you're hidden. So
nobody discover you.
Exactly. And I think, one of the things that helped me was realizing I can talk up any of my girlfriends or any of my connections. I will just talk about how wonderful they are day and night, right?
Yeah.
And then I had to force myself to say, okay, if I was my best friend, how would I talk about me? And it was hard, but it helped a lot, because then I was like, oh dang, like I do a lot of really good things, or I'm pretty good. And it's helped me get better. I'm still not,
Same here. Same here.
So I'm not 100% hidden. I'm shining a little bit.
So, we're fabulous. We need to let people know that we're fabulous.
Exactly.
On what we do, not necessarily, to brag, but I think, what you do is really a great thing, because you help people to be seen socially out in the digital world, where it's so many TikTok videos and many video things, and people get sidetracked. And sometimes people don't even, it's tiresome to talk about yourself all the time. So if you have a system that is actually help people being seen without talking, that's what I love your service. I think it is so great that you can help people do that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. And you're right. Sometimes it is easier to have someone come in and do the bragging for you. And I would say even some of my clients were hesitant to even post a testimonial on social media because they felt like it was bragging. It was like, no, you have to let people know. And yeah, you're right. And, I think that's one of the great things about you, Lee, is, and I've seen this, not just you and me, but even in like the accountability group, but you kind of pull stuff out of people and help them realize what they have to brag about, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And, not in like a conceited way, but in like like I can compete in my market because I do have this. And I think you're wonderful at that. And I know that you have a cooking business, and I mean, that's what you do.
I try to do that by getting out of my comfort zone. And that's very uncomfortable to do. Oh, yeah. And I have signing on to myself. I say that to do great things, I have to really continuously getting out of my comfort zone. And I love to encouraging other people to get out of their comfort zone. In order to grow, you have to do that. And that's what, my book, I say, I didn't miss the boat. I try really hard not to miss that boat. I have to try and continue to try to not missing the boat of life. So I don't wish on anybody who's missing their boats. Like if you are a gem, you need to show off your gem.
Right.
Don't miss the boat.
Right. And if you're an emerald gem, make sure people can see that you're an emerald. If you're a ruby, make sure they can see your ruby. Like whatever makes you
diamond,
Yeah, whatever makes you unique, you need to
right.
see it. Yeah. So that actually, I'm glad that you talked about your book, because I wanted to bring that up. Also, Women's History Month. And this memoir is, first of all, amazing. But do you just want to kind of tell everyone about it? I think if you're listening to this and you are looking for something to read this month, it's Women's History Month, this is the book that you need. You need it. So yes, Lee, tell us.
Well, this is the book of a teenager, of a 16 years old boy who actually lived through quite a bit of history, from Vietnam War to how we get out of Vietnam, struggle with the family, by herself, with identity crisis. But at the end, we all coming out in a triumphant, because we a resilient race. We are women, strong women. Sometimes we don't give ourselves credits for that, but know that, you know, we are strong, resilient women, that we can do the thing if we put our mind to determine to do that. So it is a book of not just a story, not just my story, but it's an immigration story, it's a refugee story of people who have parents that sacrifice so much for their children to have the freedom so they can have a second chance in life. And that's what I'm enjoying right now, my second chance in life, that my parent going such a tough time to give it to me. And I don't want to hide it. And I don't want to not glorify them or glorify all the parents, all the immigrant parents who have done so wonderful things for their children. And then, you know, to get people to break their silence and talk about it, because by talking about it, you will heal that wound, whatever wounds that is. You need to talk it out so you can get over it and move on to a better future.
Yeah, that is so true. That is such a good point.
And find more opportunity. So there's always opportunity, but you got to find a way to create it.
Definitely. Yeah. I loved your book. So, I mean,
thank you.
It's reading it, it's so surreal. It's almost like, it almost seems like a movie, you know, because
well, I have friends that told me that she can see that on the movie screen. So I am putting it out there. If anybody know a producer, anybody who looking for a movie script, something, I mean, this would be a good, I mean, I don't even want to go that far. I mean, that would be nice. But if you have a book club that you need to talk about women and women's characters, resilience, this would be a good book to discuss. I already have a few book clubs that book me out to come and talk to them, because after they read the book, they probably going to have tons of questions. So I would be more than happy to do a Zoom Q&A, and I will be more than happy to, if you have an event, you need a speaker, I'll be more than happy to come out and speak to your association or your conferences or anything. I love about inspiring women to do more, to achieve more, and not miss their boat.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yes. And I encourage everyone to read it. I mean, as someone, you know, as a mom, as someone who used to be a teenage girl, you know, all the things that someone who's lost her dad, like just thinking of what your family accomplished and what you went through, right, is, I mean, it's unfathomable. Like, just reading it, I'm like, I don't know what I would do as a 16-year-old girl in that situation.
You will know what to do if you're there, and I hope you never be there in my shoes or anyone. But you know what? We are crossing the ocean, one ocean and the other. It's just a different ocean. You know, everyone has their own pain and suffering that they bear and inherits from their parents, from their family. Even the simplest thing, even if your dad's supposed to pick you up and take you to a movie because that's his week and then he didn't show up, and you know, it could hurt you in a traumatic way. So, I mean, we can have a compare, because all suffering is suffering. To me, I think, you know, no matter what level of suffering, if you're going through that pain, you got to resolve it in order to move on. So for me, this is one good way to resolve it. And the communication with people all over the world, I feel like I'm communicating with my dad, because if you read the book, Ash Lea knows that how much fear I had for my dad. And I was really intimidated to speak in a group, but now I'm a speaker. So if I can do that, anybody can do just about anything they want in life.
I love that. I love that. So I think we went over our 20 minutes that we were going
to. Yeah, well, it's the first one. And I think, so.
I was going to ask you though, in closing, what is one tip that you would give women for finding, your friend group or your connection group to help you take your next steps, or to help you,
Yeah,
find the
I
support that
have
you need?
many, but today I want to say that find the people, surround the people that will move you forward.
Mhm.
Find a girlfriend that do a accountable partner. Find somebody that you can actually check up on each other for progress. You are the average of 5 people you hang around with. So be very, very, very careful. Who do you hang around with?
Mhm.
Because that could lift you up or drown you down. So that's my this week's takeaway.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yep. And
And
I
I
would
want to thank you, Ashley, for being my accountable partner and being a sister that we check on each other's on progress and
Mhm.
whatnot. So
Yeah, I'm so glad we found each other. And you're right. The 5 people you hang around with most makes a huge difference. And like you said, you need to find those people, and they're going to hold you accountable, which could be calling you out sometimes too. Like, hey,
yeah.
you need to do this, or,
But in a loving way, they
in a very
support you.
loving
That's why
way.
they
Yep.
say, yeah.
Yeah. Like yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I think too, one thing I've always tried to do is hang out with people that I think are smarter than me. And, I want to learn, like I
Yeah.
want to be inspired. And I
Mhm.
think that's huge. It doesn't even have to be work related. It could be someone
Yeah.
who knows more about, I don't know, stained glass creations or woodwork. I don't
Anything.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything. Just
Right.
something. And yeah, I think that, I don't know, just slowly surrounding yourself with people like that, it makes a huge impact on your life. So big.
Does. It does. Diversity is actually going to help you grow so much further than just staying the same old, because you won't see anything fresh if you just stay and being comfortable. That's why get out of that comfort zone and start
Yeah.
talking to people.
Yes, exactly. Schedule a Zoom call with somebody.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
started.
So thank you so much for this fabulous Friday. I am really enjoying this, and I can't wait to do this with you every um, other week, or every
Every
second and
second and
fourth
fourth.
Friday. That's every other week in majority, but
Yeah.
we have it nailed down a little more precise, so that way you don't have to go around. It's like, which week is every other week?
Yes. Yep. Every second and fourth. So I think that sounds good.
All right.
So
Well, thank
awesome. Well, thanks
you.
everybody, and happy Friday. I'm going to stop the recording real quick.
Happy Friday.
Yay.